Good evening. I'm so excited to be here in the intentional parent group. You know, the word intentional is like my tag word. And anytime I hear it, I just get excited. So I want to first of all congratulate Wendy for putting up this awesome and amazing conference. And if you have not had the opportunity to listen to the amazing insights that the other experts have been sharing from yesterday, please do so. So I am Dinma Nwobi. I am the creator of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching series, and I'm excited to be talking to you about becoming a happy parent. So let's start. And I like to ask a lot of questions because I believe that in interacting, we're learning. So Wendy, glad to be here with your team as well. So can you actually have children irrespective of the ages that your children are at? And then I'm focusing on parents who have children from the ages of 0 while the baby's still in the tummy till they turn 18, because that is the crux of parenting. Once your children are above 18, the work you're going to do with them is more of coaching and advisory. So you have 0 to 18 years in your children's life to raise them to be awesome. So can you be a happy parent? What really does it mean for you to be happy? That's what we want to look at. Because you know what? Parenting is a responsibility. And it is a responsibility that does not necessarily have to take all that is of you. When I interact with parents, I see a lot of parents who are overwhelmed. They are weighed down with raising their children. They are running from this activity to the other activity. They are doing a lot of trial and error methods. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't really win, and it can be really, really overwhelming. So how can you do parenting and still be happy? I guess we need to start from, what does happiness mean to you? When you hear the word happiness, what does it mean to you? Is it just being in good moods? Is it just being positive and dancing shaku shaku like me? Is it just having a carefree attitude to life? Is it just everything working well for you without you having to face any negativity? What exactly does being happy mean to you? Okay, so let's look at happiness. I'm always intrigued when I'm talking with people and they equate happiness to either posing for the cameras, taking selfies, and all that illusion that when you are happy means that your life is devoid of problems, your life is devoid of negativity, your children will not throw tantrums, things will just be working according to your perfect plan. Let me burst your bubble. There is no happiness without trials. There is no happiness without negativity. There is no happiness without you failing sometimes. There is no happiness without you making mistakes. And so if happiness is not just that jolly good feeling all the time, what then is happiness? Because we need to understand happiness to now become a happy parent. So in a nutshell, I'll just tell you what happiness is. So happiness includes positive moods, right? It includes having a cheerful disposition, but more than that, happiness is knowing how to navigate negative emotions. Happiness is knowing how to respond to the inner critical voice in your head. There are certain times you do some things with your children and it turns out badly and you begin to feel guilt. I don't know if you've been that parent who either missed your child's recital, missed an opportunity to be there for your child, or perhaps you've been part of the no spanking challenge or no shouting challenge, and then you find yourself shouting again. Happiness is knowing how to respond to the inner critical voice that is in your head. Happiness is being able to bounce back from your mistakes, because in this parenting journey, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have near misses. You're going to hit something. And so how do you bounce back? That is part of being a happy parent. Happiness is also being able to set meaningful goals, and not just setting the goals, being able also to achieve the goals that you set. Happiness also includes nurturing deep connections and friendships, not with your children, with your spouse, in your lives. Happiness is having a reason to wake up daily. Having a reason to wake up daily is part of what happiness is. And then not only that, happiness also is entailed in how you wrap up your day, how you go to bed, and how you wake up the next morning energized and ready to put in the work that you need to do. And in all, happiness is being able to live your authentic life, your meaningful, purposeful life, even while parenting your children. So you see that happiness is much more than just positive emotions, right? Yeah, happiness is much more than positive emotions. That's why I said happiness is life, because it doesn't matter whether you're a parent, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a boxer, an entrepreneur, a businessman. What you want is happiness. And how can you have that happiness even as a parent? So quickly, I'm going to take you through the 5-step process of the architecture of intentional happiness that I have been able to deploy in my home, in my family, in my life, and I've taught it to hundreds, not millions, hundreds of parents, and they have adopted it to their life. And so what is that? It first of all starts with clarity. For you to be a happy parent, you need to be clear on who you are as a person. A lot of times I see parents who all their life involves is on their children. You can't parent your children effectively if you are not given to living a life of your own. You cannot be the best of parents if you are not becoming a better person each day. So you need to know who you are. Be clear on who you are. Be clear to have a drive for your life. Be clear to have a purpose that is pushing you. Let me tell you something. Parenting, and I'm going to be busting some bubbles here. I'm going to be dropping some bombs that initially when you hear them, you're like, oh my God, what is she saying? But I need you to just be with me on this. You don't have to believe everything I'm saying, but please leave room to think it through. Should what I am saying really make sense after all? And then go back and research yourself. Let me tell you something. No matter how much you invest in your children, no matter how much time you spend in your children to be the best parent, if your life does not have a meaning, parenting cannot give you fulfillment. Parenting will not fulfill you, because parenting is a role that is added to who you are. You are an essence. You are a person. When you can find fulfillment in parenting is if the work you're doing in parenting is another expression of this embodiment of potentials that you are. Is another expression of this purposeful life that you have found for yourself. So if you are going to excel as a parent, you need to first of all find yourself. Who are you? What drives you? What makes you want to wake up every day from your bed? What is the purpose that you are here on earth to fulfill? What gives your life a meaning? Until you become clear of who you are, until you become clear of who you are, parenting may never fulfill you. Because no matter everything you do with your children, if you have not yet connected to the essence of who you are, there will still be that void. There will still be that nagging emptiness. There will still be that thing that you feel, oh, there's something missing. That is why sometimes you see some parents who give their all to their children, but they're not really happy. Their essence is lost because they've not found themselves, and so they cannot give themselves to their children, because it takes a wholesome parent to raise a wholesome child. So that's what I mean by the first step of the architecture of intentional happiness that will make you a happier person and then a happier parent is first of all realizing that you are first a person before you are a parent. And so if you've not made the connection to what your purpose is, if you've not made the connection to what makes your life tick, if you've not made the connection to why your life matters, parenting may not make you happy. Secondly, you need to be clear on what your role as a parent is. A lot of the frustrations that parents face is because we are assuming a responsibility, we are assuming a position that we are not in the life of our children. To be clear on who a parent is, you need to understand what is parenting. So the root word for parent is from the Latin word perare, which means to bring forth. So if you have chosen to become a parent, there is need for you to be clear that your work is to help your children bring forth every gift, every talent, every potential that is in them to full bloom so that they can be beneficial to humanity. Your responsibility as a parent is not to clone your children. It's not necessarily to give them orders that must be obeyed. It's not to stand as the Almighty who needs to be obeyed. Your role as a parent is to bring forth all that your child carries in him to bless humanity. So that's the first part to being happy as a parent. Clarity. Be clear on who you are. Be clear on the purpose that you're pursuing. Be clear on the role you have to play in your child's life. And let me shock you. You need to understand that the only difference, I heard this from the Sadhguru, and it made a lot of sense. The only difference between us and our children is that we arrived here earlier. You're not wiser than your children per se. You are not almighty to your child. It's just that you're here earlier, and so God has placed you as a guardian to help bring forth all the blessedness that your child has. With this clarity of who you are and the role you play in your child's life, then you need to understand what are the fundamentals that I need to provide for my child. Number one, I need to be a support to that child to help bring forth all of his blessings. I need to provide the child with the conducive learning environment where the child can thrive and develop these potentials. So all of the clarity that you've gotten from your role as a parenting is to do this. Be available for the child, provide the right environment for your child to thrive. Secondly, the next step after you're clear on who you are, and please, if you have not uncovered your purpose as a parent, that could be why you have depressive symptoms. That could be why you feel there's something missing in your life. Not necessarily the stress your children are giving you. It's just because you've not found the meaning that life has for you. Secondly, the next step to becoming a happier parent in the process of the architecture of intentional happiness is awareness. Oh my God, you need to be aware of the child you're raising. A lot of issues that parents have with their children is because we are not aware. We're ignorant of the child we're raising. Awareness is the first step to parenting. Awareness is the first step to any lasting transformation. Who are you as a parent? What are the things that gets you offended? What are the things that throw you off? You know, sometimes when we're talking about discipline for our children, I dare say to some parents, you know, the way we discipline our children that is offensive, maybe we're caning them, we're slapping them, we're beating them. If you really tell yourself the truth, it's not because of what your child did that you're that aggressive. It's because you're not aware of your triggers, you're not aware of your emotions, you're not aware of how to navigate these emotions, you're not aware of how to manage the emotions, and so when your child does something, you just bounce on the child. So to be a happier parent, you need to be aware. You need to be aware of yourself. You need to be aware of your child. This child I'm raising, who is he? What is my child's love language? What is my child's personality class? What is my child's learning style? What is my child's intelligence? What is the best learning style for my child? How does my child better communicate? How do I even communicate that will help me deal with my emotions and not pass it on to my children? So awareness is important, and in the awareness module, there's a lot that time will not permit me to talk about. But honestly, if you're listening to me and you yet do not know the personality class of your child, you don't know how your child loves to learn, You cannot be a happy parent, because every parenting style you throw at your child will be met with resistance. It won't give you the desired outcome, and it will be frustrating. And when you are frustrated and you don't have the skills to deal with this frustration and to bounce back, you will never be a happy parent. If you're not aware, and with awareness, you will understand that in being a happy parent, there is no almighty formula for parenting. Hey, there is no, oh, in my family, this is the parenting style we deploy. It won't work. Every children in your family is different. And so with the awareness of the different potentials in your child, you will deploy strategic and specific strategies for each of your children, and that will help you be at peace. Imagine if your child was a visual learner, and then you want to discipline your child, or you want to give your child instructions, and all you say it verbally. And then the child doesn't do the instruction, and you come back and you're frustrated. Oh, I've been saying this. It is because you're not aware that your child does not interpret and retain verbal auditory information as he will do a visual one. And so let me just tell you what the trick is. Imagine that you knew the learning style of your child. Instead of giving verbal instruction to a visual child, you will write it down, paste it on somewhere visible that the child can see it every day. If you just make that tweak, you'll be a happier person, because your child will be more given to the instruction, because now it has been presented in the way that he learns. So I can't beat so much about awareness and the things you need to be aware of: the personality class of your child, his love language, his learning style, his multiple intelligences, and a lot more. You need to also be aware of your triggers and what puts you off. When as a parent, you are low on energy, when as a parent you are demotivated, when as a parent you are stressed out, the possibility of you to throw the stress on your children is great. It is very high. But if you are aware of what triggers you, then you will plan in advance of how to rejuvenate yourself. You will plan in advance of how to connect back to that creative person in you. The third step of the architecture of intentional happiness that you can apply to parenting, yes, when the learning styles work for everything, it works for discipline, it works for communication, it works for a whole lot of things. In module 10, module 11 of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching series, which I'll talk to you about shortly, I talked about how you can infuse learning styles, personality styles into communicating effectively with your children, because everything rises and falls on communication. If you can communicate well in a way that your child understands and interprets learning, you will be able to deal with the challenges you will have with your children. So let's quickly move to the third process in the architecture of intentional happiness. We've talked about clarity, we've talked about awareness, now we're talking about the third one. And the third step is strategy. I can't talk so much about strategy. If you want to live a happier life, if you want to be able to look back every day at the end of the day and you can beat your chest and say, oh my God, I did this, my children are turning out well, I am raising them, I'm succeeding in my career, I'm succeeding in my work, I'm not so burnt out, I'm not always having low energy. You can't do parenting and do life without having strategy. And your strategy starts first and foremost with your purpose statement as a person and the vision statement of your home. Time will not permit me to talk so much about purpose statement and vision, but I'll crave that if you want to know more about this, please, I will share with you the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching series. It is a lengthy paced coaching program that you can take on your own and glean all of the skills. In module 8 specifically, I talked about how visioning is important if you're going to be happy as a parent, how it makes your parenting easy. I'm just going to wrap this up with a story. So one time, my daughter, who is currently 15, she was about 8 years old then. No, she was 7 going to 8. Okay, 7 going to 8. And then I was working as a banker then, and each time I would come home, the nanny would tell me that, oh, she told her to do this and she didn't do that, she told her to do this. And so I'll call my daughter. My daughter, by the way, in our personality class, is predominantly a powerful commander. And so she wants to be the boss, she wants to be the one doing the thing and all of that. So she was having fracas with our domestic staff because she didn't understand why should she give me instructions. Okay, so I'll come back from work and I'll talk to her, oh, don't do this, you have to respect her, you have to do this. But the complaints kept coming. So one day I came back from work and the nanny also complained that she didn't do the things she asked her to do. And as I was about to talk to her about it, I just heard in my spirit, tell her to recite the family mission statement. Because while our children were growing, we had the family vision, what our family wants to achieve, the forecast for our life. We have a family mission statement. That was what guided every decision, every move, everything we did. And right from when the children were as young as 3, 4, 5, they were reciting the statements every day as part of our family parting ritual. So when we're going out of the house after praying with them and my husband blesses them, we will hold hands together and we will recite our family vision, our family mission statement and our values, and we will depart for the day. So on that particular day that I was mediating this case with her and the nanny, I asked her to recite the family mission statement. She was 7 then, going to 8. And so she started to recite it. And when she got to the part that a sense of belonging in our home, I told her to pause. I said, we have explained what sense of belonging meant before now. With the way you are treating Miss Ogo, do you think that you are making her have a sense of belonging in this home? And my daughter looked at me and said, no. So I went on to correct her using the family mission statement. That's why I said that your strategy is important. If you're listening to me and you don't have a family vision, you don't have a family mission statement, you don't have a set of core values that directs the things that you do as a family, please, you need to talk to me after this and pick up specifically module 8 of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, where I gave a step-by-step process of how to craft that. I wouldn't tell you that automatically from that day my daughter became super obedient, but the message sank in and her relationship with that nanny of ours continually improved from that day. My daughter is 15. The nanny left us when she was 8, but up till today, we still maintain a cordial relationship. And so when I'm parenting my children with my husband, having a strategy which starts from a vision is parenting made easy. Everybody rallies around it. It's so stressless to come under that umbrella of who we represent and what we want our family to be. So that's strategy. Apart from the strategy, when you are aware of the child you're raising, you will now deploy a strategy that is in line with the child you're raising. And so let me give you an example. Remember, you need to be clear on what your role as parents is. Secondly, you need to be aware. Then thirdly, strategy. So let me give you a typical example. Let's suppose that this child of yours, who is a perfect critic. I don't know, the terms I'm using are the terms for the personality class. So we have the powerful commander, we have the playful comedian, we have the peaceful conformer, and we have the perfect critic. So these are the personality types in the module of intentional parenting, okay? So imagine that you have a child who is a perfect critic. That is a child who is analytical, a child who is precise, a child who follows due process, a child who likes you to keep to the rules, a child who likes you to, your yes must be your yes, and all of that. And you want to deal with that child. Perfect critic children are children who have the natural tendency to be orderly, to be neat, and all of that. And this child also is an auditory learner. So now you are aware of the personality type, you are aware of the learning style of your child, auditory learner, and then you are aware of his love language, that this child likes to be loved through acts of service. When you are designing a strategy of, for example, discipline, or let's say communication, whatever, I can use any scenario. Let's say discipline, okay? Let's say with discipline. And you want to design a strategy for this child. Are you aware that you have to incorporate his personality class, perfect critic, his love language, which is acts of service, and his learning style, which is auditory, in getting the best discipline plan that will work for him? That's why sometimes we use some discipline measures and we say, oh, my child is stubborn. Oh, it worked for his elder brother. It may work for his elder brother. It won't work for him, because you've not strategized a system that is best suited for the kind of person that he is. So you can't be a happy parent without strategy. You can't be a happy parent without having plans. Part of your strategy is being able to set realistic goals and becoming the person who can meet the goals. Let me tell you, parenting is frustrating if your goals are never met, if you have a lot of things that you're doing. And hey, maybe it's appropriate that I bust that bubble here. If you are a woman and you are a mother and you are a parent and you have been sold that lie that women can multitask, so you can be doing a lot of things at the same time and juggling your energy here and there, please, I want to tell you that that is a half-baked truth. You can't multitask and maximize your energy. You can't multitask and be motivated in all of these multiple things you are doing per time. And it's because you don't have a strategy. That is why you are multitasking. You do one thing at a time, expend your energy in it so that you can be fully present to give your all to it. Okay? So strategy is important. I can go on and on how to set goals and meet the goals, how to break it down into simple steps. It's all part of becoming a happier parent. When you have the strategy, when you have your family vision, your family mission statement, and your family values, it makes life a whole easier for you. When people are coming to your home, be it multitasking is a lie. There's nothing called multitasking. That's why we have a lot of overwhelmed parents. We have a lot of parents who are overly tired, fatigued, and all that. No, you have to have a strategy. And the simplest strategy, I forgot to share that. The simplest strategy you can have as a parent is starting your day with intention, with awareness, and with action. And when I say that, what I mean is starting your day with your morning rituals. Parenting will sap your energy. Life will sap your energy. And when you are depleted, you can't be happy. The secret of successful, happy people is how they start their day. A lot of rituals that you can do to start your day and prep you up for energy is too much that I can't share in here. But in the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, specifically in module 12, that is titled The Intentional Parent, I talked about morning rituals that parents should have. Morning rituals such as, even if the first thing you do when you wake up from your bed is to lay your bed, that can make you happier and more productive for the rest of the day. Even if what you do is just sit down, close your eyes and meditate for 5 minutes, even the simplest of meditation, that can make you happier and set your day in the right track. Even if it is 20 minutes of exercise, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym every morning. 20 minutes of exercise boosts your energy levels for the day and you're ready to do the work that you need to do for that day. So you have to be strategic about how you start your day. Start your day with your morning rituals and you can't go wrong with that. Okay, so that is that. And then your strategy also to becoming a happier parent is how you close your day. So a lot of people know about the morning rituals, but some people are not aware of the research and the evidences that are bound as to how wrapping your day up in a certain way can make you wake up the next day happier and more energized to do the work that you need to do. So I'll just share briefly how you can wrap up your day as a parent so that you can wake up the next day happier. Wrap your day up in gratitude. So at the end of the day, after you've started your day with your morning rituals and you've done the things you want to do during the day, you need to also wrap your day up with some night rituals. And the rituals I will recommend for you to wrap your day up is 1, wrap it up with gratitude. Before you go to bed, take some time to pause. And please, if you are an intentional parent here and you don't have a gratitude journal or a journal, call it whatever name you want to call it, where you write the things that jump at you every day, where you recollect your thoughts, where you jot down the things that makes life meaningful for you, please, you need to do that. So in your gratitude journal, every night pause and think of at least 3 good things that happened that day and how you contributed to those things happening. Reflect on them, write them in your journal, and instantly research has shown, evidences are bound that people who do that sleep better, number 1. It boosts their positivity and happiness, number 2. Then number 3, they wake up the next morning filled with optimism and hope for a better day. So try it out and let's see how it works. Another night ritual to wrap up your day is to have a sleep routine. Please have a daily consistent time at least that you go to bed every day and a consistent time that you wake up every day. I can't go on and on talking about sleep and vitality and how it makes you be a happy parent and one that can do the work. There's so much evidence that that holds. And I talked about them in the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program. Okay, so let's move on. So that's about strategy. A lot of things to talk about it, but time really is not our friend. But if you can invest in your happiness and in your children, I would say that you get the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program. It is actually a 12-module parenting coaching program that is presented as audios. So we have it as digital downloads for those who want to download the link and play it at their convenience from anywhere where you are, or it is presented as audio CDs that you can play even as you commute in your car. In that series, I talked about topical parenting issues and the things you need to know to raise wholesome children with ease. And the Intentional Parenting Coaching Program currently goes for $20,000 for the 12 modules, but I'm giving a discount for people that will listen to the end of this program, a special discount that will close after this Intentional Parenting Conference closes. So if you want to take advantage of that, please stay with me and listen to the end. So let's continue. So we are on number 4. So we've talked of clarity, we've talked of awareness, we've talked of strategy. Then let's talk about execution. The 4th step in the architecture of intentional happiness that can make you a happier person. First of all, remember I said that the foundation of parenting starts from you. If you are not happy, you can't raise happy children. If you're not becoming a better person, you cannot help your children become better, because it is of the essence of who you are. The more you are becoming wholesome, the more you are getting your children to become wholesome as well. Okay, so the fourth step of the architecture of intentional happiness for parents is execution. It doesn't matter how beautiful the strategy you have for happiness is. It doesn't matter how many books you have read on parenting. It doesn't matter how the things you have planned to do for your children. If you do not execute it flexibly, you may miss the mark. Your strategy is useless without execution. You know, I have a lot of parents who are subscribers of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program. And because I am the creator of the program, I have access to the back end to see the parents that are downloading the links, clicking on the links first of all, and downloading the material. And I'll tell you, honestly, if we have over 300 parents currently who are enjoying the who are using the learnings of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program with their children, statistics from the back end shows that not more than 70% of them open the links. So you are wondering, why did they pay for the program if they are not going to listen to it, talk less of using it to impact on themselves and their children? So I don't care how much you know. I keep telling people, knowledge is not power. It is applied knowledge that unleashes the power that you have. So you can be a parenting guru. You may have read all the books about parenting. If you are not applying the knowledge you have learned in a flexible way, you will still not get what you want. So your strategy must be executed flexibly. What do I mean? There are no rules. That's why I said there are no almighty formula. Yesterday I posted on my Instagram handle, what was that? Forget the right or wrong way, focus on the way that works. Sometimes when I'm interacting with parents and I tell them about intentional discipline, I tell them about intentional parenting, and they say, oh, that's not how our parents raised us, that's not how our parents did that, oh, this is not our culture, this is not that. Oh my God. What is culture? Do we want to talk about that? Culture is a way of life of a people at every given point in time. And so that means that the culture must be empowering the people. So if there's any cultural belief, anyhow that you're handling your children and your life that is currently not serving your ultimate purpose, dish that. Go for what works. So why am I saying this? There is no this is the way it is done in parenting. You have to be flexible in your application. That's one. In being a happy parent, you have to play. You know, I was talking with someone today, and the person said, oh, I like the way you shaku shaku, even though you don't know how to dance it. I don't really care if I'm not the best Zanku dancer, but I catch fun with my children. Because you know what? When you are playing with children, they are learning. If you want to teach a child anything, hide it in play. All of this structured learning just makes them weary of, okay, what is she about to say again? But when you are playing, you are infusing your values into the play. You are infusing the lessons you want to give them into the play. They are playing, but they are learning. Because let me give you a hint about the human brain. The human brain cannot successfully distinguish real from imagined. So even when your child is playing, he's learning. The best way to teach a child is to play with the child. So what's the atmosphere in your home like? What is the atmosphere in your life? Because if you have not been playing, you can't play with your children. Okay, you can play with your children. So have a family culture that involves play, that involves bonding, that involves having a family traditions, things that bring you together. Let the times you invite your children into your home, into your life, into your space, not only be when they've done something bad and daddy and mommy wants to shout at them, you want to correct them, so that's when we have conferences. No, have time where you sit together, eat from one big bowl, let everybody eat together, share their thoughts. Research has shown that families where children are raised that have family traditions, such as eating together, these children do better academically, they handle peer pressure better, they are more emotionally sound and all of that. So you have to execute your strategy as a parent in play, flexibly. In execution, you have to understand, have a feed-forward system. You get frustrated with your parenting your children because you don't have a feed-forward system. Is there a system in your home for eliciting responses from your children? The other time, in the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, I shared how my daughter once called me a promise and fail mom. Yeah, she said to me, she was 8 then, my second daughter, and she said to me, Mom, as a parent, you should know that when you make mistakes, you should keep, when you make promises, you should keep them. That's because there's a feed-forward system in my home. That's how to execute. Because how do you raise a child happily if you cannot get the response of the child to how your parenting style is influencing that child? You know, in communication, I also talked about it in the Intentional Parenting on the Go program. In communication, the response you get is the result of your communication. Think about that. So when you're dealing with your child and your child says to you, Mommy, you're wicked, or Daddy, you did this, you don't say, eh? That means to your child, that's the interpretation the child gives of what just transpired between you. So that's execution. Be flexible. Know that you can make mistakes. When you make mistakes, don't be too adult. Don't be too parent to apologize. I have apologized to my children. I will apologize tomorrow again if I do something that is out of what the family decides to do based on our culture and all of that. So let's go to the next one, because I want to be able to take your questions and share with you the discount that is available to the people who will take advantage of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program after my time with you. The 5th step of the architecture of intentional happiness that you can apply in parenting is support. Support is the 5th step. We started with clarity, then awareness, then strategy, then execution, now support. You can't raise your child and be happy without support. You need a support system. And I'm not just talking about support system externally. It starts with your internal system. If your body and mind is not connected, you will make a mess of parenting. So starting first from you, what do you constantly feed yourself? What do you constantly say to yourself? How does your person support this role that you have chosen to do as a parent? To be a happy parent involves your nutrition. If you are eating unhealthy, you will be low on energy. If you are not eating well, you will be fatigued. If you are not eating well, you will be ill. If you are not eating well, a lot of things. So it starts with that. It starts with what you are feeding your mind. It starts with your body supporting this role that you have taken to do. So that's the internal system. It also starts with how you detox yourself, how you distress yourself. I don't want to go a lot to the ways that you can self-care. It's part of the support you have to give to yourself to be a happy parent. So let me ask you a question. As a parent raising wholesome children, what is your strategy for rest? What is your strategy for rest? When was the last time you did something fun for yourself? You know, I talked to some people, the 21st of June was International World Yoga Day, and I spent the morning in the beach doing some stretches, some yoga poses, and just relaxing with nature. That is one of the things that puts me in my creative mood. That is one of the things that makes me rest, because if you don't plan rest, you will be fagged out and you will take it out on your children. Every parent who wants to be happy while parenting your child must have a strategy for rest, whether it is quarterly, whether it is half yearly, whatever. So what is my strategy for rest, Wendy? Okay, I think you're asking them. My strategy for rest is, first of all, my morning rituals, then going to bed. I have a regular sleep time, 11 p.m. I am already in bed and I wake up by 6. So I ensure that I have at least 7 hours full sleep every day, except for certain things, okay? Then I go to the gym 3 times a week, because activity, doing exercises also helps to de-stress me and puts me in my creative mode. Part of what I do also, like to me, is to swim. But then quarterly, I take time out for a retreat to rejuvenate myself, and I like to do that by nature, because I understand the benefits of being with nature for rejuvenation. I shared all of this and how it can help you become a happier parent in one of the modules in the intentional parenting of the Go Coaching program. So let's just move on so that we can take some questions. So aside from that support system, your rest strategy and all of that, that is one leg of it. Another support is if you are parenting a child with your spouse, that you're not a single parent. Even if you're a single parent, it's co-parenting you're doing. If you're separated from the other parent of the child, what is the support that you give yourself as couples, as spouses? You need to figure that out, because I'm amazed when the bulk of the parenting work is left at the feet of women, is left at the feet of mothers, predominantly in our society. So you go to PTA meetings, you go to school recitals, you go for events in the children's lives, and when you get there, you see a lot of mothers. Some fathers have never, I know a father who has never been to his child's school, never, I mean never. And then how do you want to connect with this child? Are you aware that research has shown that children who have more involved fathers are likely to do better than children who have more involved mothers? So let's look at a scenario. If a father is more involved versus a mother more involved in parenting, the children who have fathers more involved tend to deal with life, growing to better emotionally balanced people than children who only have more involved mothers. So parenting is a dual responsibility. The father has a role, the mother has a role. Even if you are a single mother listening to me and you're parenting your child, you're doing fantastic. I congratulate you, I celebrate you. I also will urge you that you find a father figure for your children. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to remarry. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a relationship with the person. But let there be a man, a father figure in the life of those children that will bring that manly spice. It can be a trusted friend. It can be an older brother, your brother, a family friend, whatever. But it's important that spouses support themselves, because sometimes one spouse cannot be there for the child, the other spouse is there. I remember when I was working as a banker, my husband was the one taking the children for immunization. He was the one going for more of the PTA meetings than I was, because I needed to take permission, but he, being an entrepreneur, could afford to be there when he wanted. And it was funny, one of the days he took the child, one of our children, for immunization, and another mother who has been noticing that he was coming more frequently was like, "Where is your wife?" And my husband said she has gone to work. And the woman was she didn't come to immunize the child. My husband said, "I'm here." Is a parent that is required to come with the child, is not necessarily a mother. So please, spouses should support themselves in parenting. Thirdly, the support you can get is like you're doing now. That is why I congratulate Wendy. please, you need to belong to a parenting group just like you're doing in the intentional parent group, because when you are with like minds, you can learn from one another. You can also get support from books, but please don't read the book just for knowledge's sake. Read it, digest it, break it down how it affects your children, and go on apply what you learned. So these are the 5 steps of the intentional parent architecture of intentional happiness for parents. Remember, clarity, what's the next one? Awareness, strategy, execution, and support. My time is almost up, so I will give the offer for the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program. So the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program is a 12-module coaching program. Module 1 talks about understanding parenting from the basics. Module 2 talks about why you shout at your children and how you can stop it. Module 3 talks about the unique influence vitals of your children, where I was talking about your child's personality class, love language, learning style, and stuff like that. Module 4 talks about how to influence your children. I shared there the 9 principles of leadership, which is influence, where each word represents something and all you need to do to be able to influence your child, because parenting is nothing without influence. Module 5, I talked about how to safeguard your children from negative influences. So you learn about culture, family culture, how to create your family culture, your family values, your family vision, and all that in Module 5. Module 6, I talked about the different stages of development of our children, because if you are going to be a happy parent, you must know the stages of development your child is in, because each child at different stage of development need different strategies, need different things, need different approaches. So that's what Module 7 was dedicated to. Module 6 is dedicated to. Module 7, I talked about discipline policy, different behavioral modification techniques that will work for certain children. I demystified discipline and strategies you can use to discipline your children. In Module 8, I talked about how you can become an intentional family. I shared a lot about family traditions, how to organize your family meetings, how to get your children part of a successful family meeting, a lot of things in Module 8. Module 9 talked about child protection and safety systems that you can have in your home, because as a parent you are the first security and safety officer of your child. Module 10 is a who on sexuality, essential sexuality education, because I still see some people telling their children about public and private parts. When you're teaching your children basic sexuality, teach them about appropriate and inappropriate touch, proper and improper touch, because even if the head is a public part, if it is touched inappropriately, it can lead to sexual grooming. So a lot of age appropriate sexuality education in Module 10. Module 11 is about being a masterful communicator with your child, and I'm rounding up now, Module 12 talks about you, the intentional parent. So there I talked a lot about how to start your day with intention, with awareness, and with action. I talked about how to deal with the inner critical voice, because in this journey of parenting your children happily, you are not perfect. You are evolving just like your child, and so sometimes you might make mistakes, and when you make mistakes, that inner critical voice will never stop condemning you, will never stop blaming you. There is a strategy of how to silence that voice. I shared the 4 steps in Module 12. I also talked about how to move from goal setting to goal getting, because I see that a lot of parents set goals, but they don't become the people who can get the goals. So this 12 modules, each of them has 4 lessons with practical things that you can do. Currently, the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program goes for 20,000. Either you are getting the digital download or you are getting the audio CD. But because of this conference and to support Wendy in the beautiful work she's doing in this group, I am going to be giving you a 50% discount. I'm sure people that are in this group that are subscribers to this program already will be like, what? but I'm doing it in solidarity to Wendy. So for the people who are going to take advantage and sign up for the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, for the period that this conference lasts, the day the conference ends, the offer expires. You can get it for 10,000 naira. After this, I will share my details, account details, where you can make payments, and then you must quote the code Intentional Parenting Group, so that I'm sure that it is the people that listen to this that got the offer. So 50% only for the time that this conference is. You get the 12 modules of the Intentional Parenting Coaching Program at 10,000, valid only till this conference ends. The day it ends, the offer closes, and the price for subscribing to the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program reverts back to 20,000. Anything you want to achieve as a parent is possible. The only difference, the space between where you are right now in your parenting journey and where you want to be is knowledge. It's the agency to apply the knowledge. And it's not anyhow knowledge, the right knowledge. So who am I to be giving you the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program? I am a family life consultant. I am a practitioner of emotional intelligence. I am a practitioner of applied positive psychology, and I am also a master practitioner of neuro-linguistics programming. And all of those learnings I have put together into creating the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program that currently has over 300 parents subscribed to. So if you take that advantage today or before the conference ends, you are getting it at 50% slash. Whatever you want to achieve with your children is possible. With the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, I bet you your parenting skills will just go skyrocketed. And the beauty about the program is that you get to take a parenting skills evaluation when you sign up for the coaching program, and at the end you will also take another parenting skills evaluation, because I don't believe in just giving knowledge. I want the knowledge to impact life. So we will test your parenting skills at the beginning and know where the loopholes are. When you take the program, which is self-paced, you can listen to it at your convenience. You will also take the parenting evaluation at the end, so that we'll see how much of your parenting skills have grown and how much you have applied it into your relationship with your children by doing the things that are shared there. And I think my time is up. It is 8:59. It's been a pleasure being here with you. No, the Intentional Parenting on the Go is an audio program. It is presented either as digital download, so you can get the link, you download it, and you listen to it. There are 12 modules. Each of the modules has 4 lessons. I have already listed what the module covers. So it's not a book. It is an audio that is either presented as digital download or as physical CDs that you can slot in and listen to. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being here with you. I am Dinma Nwobi, aka the Queen of Happiness, the creator of the Intentional Parenting on the Go coaching program, and I wish you the best in your parenting journey. Wherever you have a loophole in your parenting, that is not the end of your life. With right knowledge, and right with clarity, with awareness, with strategy, with execution, and with support, you will achieve your parenting outcomes, and you will be happier raising happier, wholesome children. Thank you.